Now this next question, I call the mouthful questions, question number 10. Can you define in particular a particular incident or scenario where you utilize your own style or philosophy of leadership?
I think you mentioned it in the opening. I think our long journey with WHAS. Different folks are at the station now.
Sure.
This is a totally different
Yeah.
TV station than it was many, many years ago. But in 1994, they ran a story that said one of our rides malfunctioned, when in fact it was operator error. And our insurance company said, you shouldn't talk about this. We wanted to be transparent to our guests, and that's our style of management. And the day it happened, we came out and we acknowledged it was our fault, it was operator error. Well, this particular station went on to characterize the accident as a equipment malfunction. Now, our rides don't malfunction. So we corrected them, and they refused to retract it. And then they tried to intimidate us. They did a 4-part story, almost 25 minutes. If the Pope got married, you don't do 25 minutes on an investigative report. And they really tried to intimidate us into silence. They were mad that we were suing them for defamation. So that started a long journey. And my partners were hesitant to engage that. This would be a very, very expensive lawsuit. We were right, though. And being right sort of motivates me. Understandably, the First Amendment, understandably, is very important and should have plenty of room to breathe. Freedom of speech, but if you're wrong, the media should retract. That's their obligation. They didn't. I think that's maybe an example of my stick-to-itness and commitment when I think we're right.
Well, it's a good time to bring this as one of my curveball questions I like to throw out. It's never happened from our Kentucky Kingdom or the other park in Arkansas. But from time to time, every summer season, something happens unfortunate in the amusement park industry, at least perception-wise. And I learned that there's really no federal oversight. Correct me if I'm wrong, number one. Number two, should there be, is there going to be? In other words, there's really no way to track. So if a state fair comes in and plops down a roller coaster, there's really no one that goes in and gives it the stamp of approval. Am I wrong?
That's wrong.
Okay.
The state ride inspectors that work for the Department of Agriculture here, they'll check out all those Midway and the traveling carnival rides. They will not allow those operators to open their rides until they certify the rides. So that is, now that's Kentucky.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
Other states, Kentucky, but other states perhaps have different guidelines. I only know what happens in Kentucky and Arkansas. So I can't speak to what's going on in other states. Regarding the government getting involved with some kind of certification of your rides, I certainly support the agricultural department's safety inspectors. Our insurance company has safety inspectors. But the reality is that oftentimes a control room for one of our roller coasters is as big as this set. I mean, they're big, big buildings with very complicated electronic equipment.
Right.
And our technicians are schooled in all this. So sometimes it's unfair that an inspector should come on site and is expected to know all that takes our people a very long time to make sure they've got it mastered, that they know exactly what they're doing, which they do. So I don't think, when your family and friends are riding your equipment, we have every desire to make sure, besides our obligation to the general public, to make sure our equipment always operates safely. And we do. We run a safe facility.